going on, people? It's Mr. back again with the preview of Reading v Nottingham Forest. And yes, it was all nonsense today. I'm not happy at all. I don't know where to start. Before I get Matthew in, people put in the comments below. How do you feel about today's performance? I don't know. I don't know. Another 5 defeats in a row now against a good Reading side. I don't know. I'm just getting a bit fed up with it now, with everything and what's happening behind the scenes as well. Yes, I'm going to bring Matthew in because he might get more angry than me. So let me get Matthew in. Hello, Matthew.
All right, Ben, how's it going?
How do you think I feel right now?
What is it? The stages of grief, where it's denial and anger and all this stuff. So I guess we're all somewhere on the spectrum.
Today's performance. How do you feel about today's performance?
It's the same, isn't it? It's Groundhog Day. It's pretty much the same every time. There's a few little twists and turns, but we're never going to score a goal. You know, you can't see us scoring a goal. The defence is okay. The defence, considering the amount of time you spend defending, is all right. And it doesn't seem to matter that much. I mean, the fullbacks aren't at the peak of their form, perhaps, but the centre halves in general have done pretty well.
I was just thinking about, like, everyone kept banging on about Worrell and McKenna as a good partnership, and that didn't help. And Figueroa came on second half.
Yeah.
Who's the best? Who is your best centre back pairing?
McKenna's impressed me, obviously, but to be honest, I'd almost be happy to perm any 2 out of 6, and it would probably work. I don't think there'd be a whole lot between any of the players individually. I mean, you'd have issues about Dawson being too old and be able to play the game and stay on the pitch the whole time, but essentially, the difference will be which combination works best. And I think McKenna's particularly strong in the air, and he's obviously left-sided, so that leaves the right side. I think he has to be the best. But then you've got So, who's young, and they don't seem to want to give him a go.
That's the problem. I don't get it. Like, we brought him for 5 million from PSG.
There's no sense to it. It's too many. It's not fair to him. It's funny, I was talking to my son about this, and we ruin so many players' careers. Everyone gets excited about players in their first game, you know, Dow, last week Cafu and stuff, and they have, even Knockhart, they have a brilliant first game, or, you know, a very encouraging first game, and they go downhill from that. So you wonder about the whole environment they're in, which you might want to talk about later, but it was the same old as far as I was concerned. I think there was just, you couldn't imagine us scoring a goal. And I mean, Taylor tries really hard. You can't knock him.
He had one chance today. And I think that's the only chance we had.
Well, and now he's had kind of a couple. There was the other one, which was a little bit similar, where the guy got his big toe on it. I forget who that was against, where we lost and we could have scored that. It was one with the header with Sammy and so forth a couple of games ago. I don't know. They're all the same. I forget who we're playing now. Pick any game you like.
Quick question, Matthew. I don't know if you can answer this, Matthew. Right? As you mentioned Knockhart. Would you, like, he's here to January, would you keep him?
No chance. No chance. Personally, I think that's one of our biggest problems. He's playing in Lolly's position. He's the golden boy, which I can understand. Houghton knows him, he trusts him, he's worked with him longer than he's worked with any of the rest of the squad, so I can kind of understand why he likes him. But to me, his attitude's kind of wrong in this situation. It's wrong. We won't want to keep him come January, I don't think, and you've got to give Lolly the right wing where he can cut in. It's his natural position, and personally, I think that's half the problem. You put Knockhart in, then Lolly's out of position, and Sammy's not on the pitch. He's become ineffective now because, well, apart from the fact he's not on the pitch, when he comes on, he hasn't been the Amiobi we know. You've got to manage these players better, haven't you? You've got to get the most out of them. You know, it's like Sow in midfield. So in midfield, God, I can never get that guy. I always say the wrong one. So in midfield, because you know, he can't stay fit, but when he's fit, he should play.
I look at the stats today. Like, so that's 60 possession, and we've got 34.
Mm-hmm.
Nine on target, and we've had one chance.
Well, that's a good day. It was a good day. It's a good day. Yeah, but it's not enough, is it? It's not enough. I mean, I was accused of kind of slagging off Cafu this week, apparently. Slating.
Wait. Let me stop you there, Matt. Right, because I was about to mention Cafu. Because everyone said he had a fantastic performance in Watford. He played one game. And everyone goes, "Oh, he played fantastic."
Yes, me too. I agree.
And how has he played like today? Tell me how he played today. People, people, put in the comments below. How did Cafu play today? Did you disagree?
I
got Matthew.
I think he played okay today, but to me, he played not much different on Wednesday. On Wednesday, he had that one time he ran into the box. He did the Rabona. He did two little kicks of the football. 2 kicks of the football doesn't, you know, amount to having a great performance. You know, it kind of, you know, you're clinging at straws. He did okay. You know, I don't want to kind of damn him with faint praise though, because he's not playing in his position. We've got like, I don't know, I've lost count of how many defensive central midfielders we've got.
20.
Yeah,
20.
But whoever you ask to play kind of the number 10 role, whether it's Cafu, whether it's Lolly, they're out of position. Arthur, are you kidding? You know, Arthur, you know, I like him, his approach to the game, his passion and all that, but he's hardly completed a pass for us so far. And still people are saying he's the new Messiah. And, you know, I'm sure if you asked him how you know, he would say, oh, you know, he'd be tearing his own hair out about it.
It just, think about that with Forest. Like I said, we've been craving for number 10. As you know, Carvalho, he went to the Spanish club. We brought in Friedman. That's not worked. We tried Arthur. That's not worked. Then we're trying Cafu. One good game. Who do you think that, like, should Forest play number 10, or just like today we played? Personally, I think we played 3 defensive midfielders. I think Cafu is more defensive.
He is, yeah, of course he is. Of course he is.
Everyone, like I said, it really, like, definitely, like, especially social media. Especially, I think not with the old, I think especially the young lot, because I think, like, we know, Matt, as Forest fans, me personally, we are the most toxic Forest fans on Twitter. Yeah, and you say one thing, it blows up, and
but it goes off at all funny angles where you end up arguing about something you don't even know what you're kind of arguing about anymore, because it goes off from being, well, Cafu wasn't that great, to all about, you know, the whole mix of the team and the fullback, and then it goes round to, like, where you say, I didn't, you know, you just said he did okay. I'm sure he isn't sending the video home to his mum to say, look, mum, I played brilliant. He played okay. He's better than that. I honestly think, you know, who has played well since we came back from lockdown? One player. You know, Sammy did a few good things, but every player is on a downward curve. Every player.
Exactly.
You can't win games like that. And it doesn't matter how good your players are. You get Harry Kane. He'll be average in a couple of weeks. You know, it's like, and why? So then it goes to, why do they play like that? And it's a combination of everything, isn't it? It's the tactics. It's personally, regardless of all the other stuff, I think the confidence, you know, if we won a few games, you can put all the other stuff aside, because all the underlying stuff was happening last year under Sabri.
Yeah.
It was all happening under Sabri. So it's the same, but you win a couple of games, you get lucky. It's good. Everyone gets excited. Everyone's dancing up and down the touchline. It's all happy days. But that was never going to last. That was never going to last. People who thought you could just win these games 1-0 away and have 15% of the ball and have one shot every 3 weeks or something, it's not going to work, is it, long run?
No.
Crazy.
I want to talk about the Reading's goals. Like, again, when talking to social media, people was blaming Samba. Other people blaming Yates. Who would, like, personally, I think it was Samba's fault.
Well, it was Samba's fault.
It was Samba's fault.
Yates, I feel sorry for Yates, because actually I thought, lovely bloke. I think his approach again is perfect, but he's another one of our central defensive midfielders, and he's barely ever played in that role. And I don't think he's the best at the club in that role either. I was calling for him to replace Ben Watson when Watson was playing the season before last, when he was awful and he'd never played in the team. So, you know, I was an advocate for Yates then. But right now, with the choices we have, I wouldn't be picking him first. You know, I'd be playing him now and again and looking after him and changing, you know, helping with so and so forth in midfield, all that kind of stuff. But today he was playing his role, I felt, and he was doing kind of okay, pretty well. And then, of course, he got sent off. And what he did, I can totally understand. I think
what he did was just good instinct. I think anyone would have done it. Anyone would have done that because it's Ryan Yates. Because the way people criticize him, or it's Ryan Yates again, and I can't, like, on social media. You can't have an opinion because this is a problem. This is a problem.
Well, I tell you what, we were losing our last week when he did the same thing at the other end, trying to score a goal with his hand and saying, "Nah, it's stupid." And I tell you what, we had the same discussions when we watched Joe Worrell last year, the preceding games to Derby, and he was constantly trying to block people out. If you look through the previous 2 or 3 games, it's like they spent the whole time drumming into him, you know, shield the ball, shield the ball. And then he goes and did what he did against Derby. We could see it coming for weeks. You could never imagine that's how it would manifest itself. But you could see there was that kind of, we're going to defend. And, you know, I think like with Yates, I tell you another guy, something like this was drummed into, Ben Brereton, where it was like, hold the ball up and draw fouls. And it was ridiculous. He was getting the ball and he was kind of going, come on, foul me. And you feel like with Yates, it's the same thing. It's like fall down, grab the ball, get free kicks, you know, and they drum it into him all the time. And I don't know, get into the box. He's constantly getting into the box. And he's not the guy really you want in the box. You want someone like Grabban or Taylor to be the guy on the end of balls in the box rather than Yates. But I don't blame him. He did what anyone could do. I was a little bit kind of frustrated because I feel like he could almost have got his head on it because the ball was bare, you know, he was able to flick it right away. It wasn't even partly across the line. With a bit of luck, if he'd just tried, he might have won a foul because the guy cleaned him out anyway. So if he just hadn't used his hand, he might have got a foul.
Well, before we start, we've got a Derby fan, Lisa Howard, or she's piping out. It's Lisa Howard. That's all we need.
I'm not looking at any of that. So I'm not looking. I get distracted. I'm just on a little phone and I can hardly read your stats you just gave me anyway. So that was like, oh God. So it's all improvised.
Don't worry about it.
But no, Samba, you got to love him. But he was casual. He thought he had it. He was putting the ball in his back pocket and having a cigar, you know, and he just waited, and the guy stepped in and took it out of his hands, didn't he? I mean, I thought when it happened, oops, it's a foul. It's somehow missed the goal. Everything's fine. Most things you see and you go, oh, you know what happened. Oh, he did this wrong. He did that wrong. It all looked okay. But it's confidence. I think a confident Samba would have taken 2 steps forward. He didn't jump off the ground at all, did he?
No.
You know, Peter Shilton always said you catch crosses at the highest point you can catch them.
We've got another Forest fan. It's not Wes, it's Lee Tilson. I don't know if you've met him. He's from the Worrell. You right, Lee?
I'm good, mate. All things considered.
We just had
the perils of being a Forest fan, isn't it, in the year 2020?
we just had a rant from Matthew.
It's your turn.
I've been listening. I agree with pretty much everything that he said. Really, yeah.
This good bloke. This bloke.
It's early, yeah.
Lee,
is this a support group now? Do we have to say, you know, stand up and say our name? We're a Forest fan, you know.
Everyone's a Forest fan there. Lee, like Matthew just said about today, how are you feeling about? What's your opinion about today?
I think it's hard to I mean, getting a red, playing, being reduced to 10 men and a goal down after 13 minutes, we were always going to be up against it, weren't we, from then on? I don't think we started the game too badly. I mean, Taylor could easily have put us 1-0 up. It was just, I think the whole game plan just went out the window. So, I mean, everybody, I mean, what did you guys think of the starting lineup? Because I personally felt that was arguably, with maybe give or take grabbing for Taylor, I thought that was arguably our strongest 11.
Matthew, what do you think, Matthew? What do you think, Matthew?
Well, that's it. I'm gonna block my copybook by a long way. So, I mean, Colback would be my first name on the team sheet every week. No, don't you start on this. I told you. I told you like Colback. When you said he wanted too much money, he could never come back. But he wanted to come back and he'd take peanuts, and he's back here for peanuts, as I told you. So he sets the whole thing up. He's you look at his stats. He's not in the top 5. He's the only guy. Stats can lie. I'll give you that. But he runs the game, and I don't know why so many people have got this thing like he plays backwards. Watch the game. Rewind the tape. Nearly all the time.
I like Colback. I do like.
Yeah,
I do like Colback.
Okay,
I do rate Colback. But do you not think with the lack of goals and the lack of creativity, do you think if he does want to play 2 defensive midfielders, do you not think the better options to play that role would be Arta and Cafu, given that they've got maybe a little bit more going forward?
Well, the big issue we've got is So's fitness, isn't it? If So's fit, you just pick So. That's the only decision. That's the only decision you have to make. The rest of the team doesn't matter. If So plays, we don't lose. So that's a good start, isn't it? So you just pick So and you don't lose, basically. So you have to pick So if he's fit. Big asterisk next to his name. You have to pick Colback. And the thing I love So, I think, is an incredible player because I've never seen a player like him because he's kind of defensive, but he's kind of tricky as hell. He's kind of like. I don't know, sort of Yaya Touré's kind of cousin that slipped under the radar or something. He's a crazy kind of player. I've never seen. So I'd pick those 2 myself, and I would definitely pick Lolly on his correct wing, and I'd pick Sammy at the moment.
Matthew, I disagree with that on Joe Lolly. I don't.
What?
The thing with Joe Lolly, right, he's a great player. I think he's a good player, but. I just don't think he's not been playing good this season. I don't think
he hasn't. He hasn't been playing good. But I think that's the problem. You have to. It's like a Rubik's cube, and you're trying to do one side of it, and you can't. You've got to say you've got to pick. Samba. You've got to pick McKenna. You've got to pick So. You've got to pick Colback. You've got to pick Graben when even if he's out of form and so-called injured and so forth. If most of the team picks itself, but if you pick Knockhart because he's your first pick, and then he takes your best player and the one you're going to have for the next few years, who's 27, who's your asset, and ruins him. So you're saying, well, I wouldn't even pick Lolly. I mean, who can say you wouldn't pick Lolly, you wouldn't pick Colback? 2 years ago, they were our best players by a country mile, weren't they? I mean, okay, that was 2 years ago, but they're not bad players. No, you can make good players into bad players. However, however you look at it, our best players now are playing really badly. Whoever you pick, all our players are playing 100%, badly. 100%. So the solution is to get your good players playing to their best, and then fill in the gaps with your kids or your lone players, or whoever it is, or rotate all the other ones and learn about them.
There's a question from Matthew. Saying. Miss Cash, Watson, and Carvalho, and we brought in bang average players, but keep the faith. Do you think we missed them 3 players?
Well, yes and no. I think Watson was outstanding last year, but I believe Colback's an upgrade on Watson. It's a different, they're different. It's like saying, do you have carrots or do you have potatoes? They're kind of both essential, and you go one, or you have pasta or potatoes. You know what I mean? So
I have neither. Takeaways.
Okay, you'd have exactly. But the point is the combination. Personally, if you go back to Karanka's first game against, Karanka, a negative coach, remember, you know, one of the most negative in the Premier League, and was very negative when he got promotion. When we went and played Bristol City, we had the 3 Portuguese guys. We probably had Adlen in the midfield.
Was that the first game? That was the first game of the season, wasn't it?
Well, it's certainly the first. Yeah, it was the first.
Yeah,
I think it was the first game. It was definitely.
Yeah, it was.
And
Yeah.
if you remember, it was funny. Like the centre halves, I think it was Dawson and Figueiredo, and they did some weird things. Dawson had about his worst game I think I've ever seen. Even you know, it was weird. He was kind of overexcited about the whole thing because he was back. And Figueiredo kind of walked the ball off the pitch, which until a couple of weeks ago was the weirdest thing I've seen him do as well. But you think that was how attacking that team was compared to what we see now? And you think back to Villa or even the dreaded Norwich away. We were scoring goals, but those were the good old days. Give me a 3-3 draw away from home now, you know.
Yeah.
You know, but that was the horror show.
One of you can't this, right? There's players like even Mighton, you can't even get in a squad.
Yes.
Do you think Huta should bring him in, or just keep the players that we got? Go on, Lee.
Give him a turn.
Isn't he injured at the moment, Mike?
No.
Oh, so he's back. He was injured though, wasn't he? But he's obviously fit. Yeah, well, he wasn't even on the bench then, was he? So that was a bit of a strange one, given the amount of defensive. And he is supposed to be.
We had five defenders on the bench.
Yeah, I noticed. And it's a strange one because Newton's pretty good with bringing young players in, as you know. Will Swan's had a couple of games now, so yeah, that was strange.
I feel sorry for Swan.
I did. I thought it was a poor move today to bring him on, but it was almost like to take Taylor off when we were already 2-0 down. It was like, you're the lone striker. You're a kid. You're the lone striker. You know, good luck. We should have been at that stage. I would have liked to have seen us say, you know what, if this game's lost, let's just go and get a goal. Let's just end this run of not scoring and just go with 2 up top for the last 20 minutes, was it?
Yeah.
I mean, did anyone really think we were going to get a goal in the last 20 minutes with a young kid leading the line on his own?
You know what?
He's not that kind of guy, is he?
Wave the white flag kind of moment for me. That
kind of, yeah.
I think with like players like Mason can't get a chance. I think we've got Norwich next. Like I said, we've got Norwich next. The way we're playing now, do you think we'll get anything out of Norwich, Matthew?
Well, you wouldn't put when these fixtures came out. You say you've got to beat Barnsley to start with, and then you've got to hope something else good happens along the way. You know, you get a win that you don't expect, a couple of draws, and you know you're going to get beaten maybe once or twice. As it turns out, we could go through the whole process without scoring a goal, which would be what you could put out any team, pick the worst team in the league and chuck them out on the pitch. You expect them to get a result every now and again, but it's almost like the whole thing is so ingrained in us. We're consistently, we're never going to score a goal, and we're going to defend reasonably well, but we're going to let one in. You know, no one beats. I don't feel like we've been thumped at all this season.
We haven't. There's a problem. We've not been thumped. That's a problem. Like,
yeah,
it's like we're having one chance. Like that was our first chance we've had in 5 games. And
I was trying to remember who scored this season. And own goals are our second top goal scorer. And I think they could end up top goal scorer.
I think Taylor's got 3, has he? And
yeah, he's got 3.
No, Taylor's got 4. Taylor's got 4 goals.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's got 4.
I don't know. You might have dreamt it. You know, you
scored the penalty, didn't he? And then he has. Yeah, he has, because he scored against Derby. He got the penalty, and then he got 2 against Wickham. Yeah,
that's right.
I am confident about Norwich. You know, I am always confident about Forest, because I don't think it's a bad set of players. You know, when you look, Christie, Arter, Knockaert, there's 3 players that were in the top 5 throughout last season. Freeman is proven at this level.
He's not playing. The thing about Freeman's not playing. Like,
no. But I mean, in general, the squad, I still think it's a good squad. And so I am confident at some point it'll click, but I don't think it's going to happen now. Obviously, I think you've probably got to say that this season's a write-off, haven't you? I mean,
it was a write-off. It was a write-off when Wilkinson came in. I thought, really, you got 10% of the game's gone, and you haven't got a point. We should have got rid of Sabri at the end of last season. You know, honestly, those players are traumatized, aren't they? People like Lolly needs a therapist more than anything. And I really feel sorry for him because he's a fantastic bloke. He's a fantastic player, but he's a confidence player. If you look at Lolly when he walks on the pitch, you know how we're playing.
Mm.
You know, when he's got a spring in his step, that's Forest. We're gonna score some goals. When he hasn't, we're never gonna score because where's the goals going to come from? It's only going to come from the wingers, really, realistically. Poor old Taylor. The ball's not going to get to him, really.
You know, I think when we played against, what game was it, Watford on Wednesday. I think we played okay, but I still felt sorry for Taylor. Like he was getting angry, really angry. His body language.
He was angry today, wasn't he? When he went off, he didn't look. He was really cheesed off about something, whether it was another player or whether it was his decision to come off. But he looked properly wound up. It's
life, isn't it? None of them are enjoying playing football. None of them are enjoying their football. All of them are hating it. And you're not going to play well. You show me a football team that can win games. Well, it goes hand in hand, doesn't it? You start winning games, everyone starts jumping around. You watch any of the old games, you're scoring goals, people running about like they own the place. Look at them now. They look embarrassed to be out there. Every single one of them. You know, they're all complaining. Knockhart's complaining. Taylor, Sammy Amiobi. God, you could do a brilliant show reel of him pulling all the faces and everything, losing his marbles about stuff. Arthur, Colbert, every single one of them. If you were trying to make like a dating profile for each of them and they said this is what they're like, they'd all be angry psychopaths sort of thing at the moment. Figueiredo, you look at all of them.
Oh my days!
It's only poor old Samba, maybe that the guy, and then he'll be a bit grumpy today.
Oh days! Right, the next question I'm going to like to say to you lot, as you know, last week I don't know if you read it, the Daniel Taylor article on Athletic. Have any of you read it?
No.
Yeah, I've read it.
Lee, you've not read it.
Is this about the club being put up for sale?
No, that's rubbish.
No, I've heard that rumour. Yeah,
that's got it. Did
you start that one, Ben?
That was Matchday Max. It was Matchday Max who started that. Matthew, as you know, you read it. I don't know. This is weird. Matthew, what's your opinion on the Daniel Taylor bringing out all this nonsense from behind the scenes?
Well, my opinion is he should have done it way back during that 2-week window when the Karanka stuff was going on. Because
let me just say, because basically Daniel Taylor he works for Athletic, and basically he spoke about this guy.
Nope.
The one next to Frank Clark. You can't see it. Can you see it, Lee?
Is it Billy Davis?
But basically, Lee loves Billy Davis.
I love Billy Davis too. I'm liking him more and more. Bring back Billy for the Billy Davis.
So basically, Daniel Taylor is all his articles spoke about this guy here. How do you pronounce his name, Matthew? Do you know how to pronounce his name?
Oh, it's Ventros, isn't it?
That's it, Ventros.
Next to the nice Mr. Clark.
Yeah. Matthew, I'm going to tell you. Well, where's he gone? Go on, Matthew. What do you think of it?
I love that. Go on, Matthew. Two-footed challenge.
Go on, tell me. What do you think? I'll say my bit. Or do you want me to go first?
Go on. You say what you. Well, let's say anyone that goes to work has to feel like they can do their job in their workplace, don't they? And a lot of it comes from the top. Forest is the most paranoid football club in the country. It has to be, doesn't it?
I just like, me personally, I think the Greeks, and everyone's got a certain way to do the business.
Yes.
And they come in, and as English people, we don't like the way they're doing stuff. Like you start with Cranky, like not Anthony Cranky. You said he was boring. I thought it was all right.
Oh no, yeah, but in the world of in the general world of football, his thing was being like a Mourinho, wasn't it? He was the He is a kind of boring manager.
Disciple of Mourinho, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he is the mini Mourinho. Karanka, for me, is such a tragedy that it ended, because he was such a fantastic guy, and the feeling within the squad was palpable. They loved him. They were a family. And as a football club, it needs to be like a family. Martin O'Neill is different style. They wouldn't talk to some of the players and stuff, and that's the way they do it. It's kind of more old school. That's fine. But the synergy that was around the club with Karanka was so good. There was something special going to grow. They would have definitely got promoted. Second year, they would have definitely got promoted, if not the first year. 100%. I bet my life on it, because they were all on the same page. Since then, no. Everything's been out of sync. This team the players get trashed. The whole squad gets changed. You get a new manager. It's not his team. He starts to get. Then you change the manager. Then you keep the manager, change the team, and then you get a new manager. So the whole, everything's out of sync. None of it works. What do you expect, and why? Why? Because who has a bomb squad? Who has a bomb squad? Who signs this many players?
There's a problem. I was about to ask the same thing about when I read the article from Daniel Taylor, the bomb squad. Like,
who aspires to that? Nigel Doughty doesn't aspire to that. We never had what club wants a bomb squad?
Don't you think that every club has it? Not
like us. Normally, it's headline news. Oh, someone had a bust up and they've been sent away. We have a whole department for it with a guy in charge of it. It's crazy. But why do you sign so many players? Why do you have 6 goalkeepers? Why do we have? It's bizarre.
I think we've got a third choice keeper. We're not even seeing him yet. So
centre backs, unbelievable amount of centre backs.
All of them, and they can't be happy. You should have 2 first choices.
I can understand them keeping Dawson with an eye on coaching and being a voice, but to have Figueiredo and obviously McKenna, Worrell, unless they just thought they were going to lose Worrell, maybe, and maybe there was a bit of a panic in the sense.
Joe Worrell will go.
I suppose one way of looking at it, Worrell will probably be gone, won't he, at the end of this season? We were lucky to keep Oldham, so maybe there's an eye on next season. It could be the Mbe, So, and McKenna next season, and so at least those got this season to get settled. And
you can if you try and make sense of it, that way lies madness. You I would say that is the correct thing to do. It'll probably be back to front. Chema was a great player. We should have just kept Chema. Robinson was a great player. Why are we messing about with why did they leave?
Did Robinson want to stay?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that. So you've gone all Dalek on me. I think it's just your internet. I don't know what you're saying, but if you can hear me, I'm going to guess.
I can hear you.
Basically, why did Chema leave? He left partly because the cultural thing, and he wasn't playing enough, I think. But he was a good player, and that's what I mean. You need 2 first choice guys. You need a kid who can be your first choice in the future, and you need a backup who's all right, but is happy being a backup. You don't want 6 centre halves who all think they should be picked. And like we said at the beginning, I wouldn't have any problem with number 5 and number 6. You tell me you're 5 and 6, you put them in. They'll probably be just as good as number 1 and 2 if they work well, because they know each other so well, because they're home watching it on telly every week.
It was madness trying to sign Krasicki, wasn't it? We've got how many wingers do you need? We tried to sign Krasicki when we already had Knockhart, Lolly, Amiobi, Maiton, Freeman was playing out there.
Lee, would you get him in January? That's probably. Would you get him?
No, I wouldn't. No, because not because he's no good, but because we've just got too many in that position. And for me, again, you have Maiton as your backup winger. You know what I mean? You don't need that many, and Lolly and Knockhart looked great against Barnsley, didn't they? And I thought, is this the moment where we finally click? and hasn't been the case since then.
Yes.
But and then I would have personally, I'd have Mighton after that. So where that leaves Amiobi and Freeman, I don't know. So I certainly wouldn't be bringing in Krasicki.
I personally think Martin will leave in January on loan.
Well, it's our way. We put these people from nowhere into the team, like Gabriel, like what's the guy? What's the Apaya? You know, you chuck these people in for 2 or 3 games. Even Brennan Johnson, you chuck them in from nowhere. They're not in the squad. Then they're playing instead of Carvalho or something. Your record signing. And then they're out the squad again, and then they're on loan somewhere because you couldn't sell them. You know, I'm not saying he was going to be sold, but you know, that's the kind of mindset. You've got to have a rational process. Personally, like I say, you have one backup guy who's okay being a backup guy, who thinks I can kind of accept, and then you have a kid who's being groomed by them to come into the team, and who could play if you need him. And because to be honest, I was talking about this again. You're saying who have been the players who've progressed at our club, and the ones that have actually progressed have been the kids from the academy.
Yeah,
on the whole, and all the signings we only sign journeymen has-been type people. I don't, you know, not every single one, but you're never going to sell our signings for a profit later, are you?
Would you bring, like, you're talking about youth, would you bring, like, I know Brendan Johnson, he's been playing good for Lincoln, would you bring him back in January? But where would you play him though? That's the thing. I think, like, look at what happened to Tyler Walker. Tyler Walker was playing fantastic for Lincoln last season. Yeah. And if you bring Johnson back in, he's not going to get a game. So just...
No. That's why it's got to be coherent though, hasn't it? You've got to say, I don't know, Graben's your first choice. Taylor's your guy who you either play with him or you bring him on for 20 minutes at the end of the game every week. And then you have your Swan, whoever it is, as the other guy who can come in now and again, sort of thing. And you've got to kind of reproduce that around the whole team. Going back to the wingers, see, I would disagree. I'd think you don't want to change your defensive centre midfielders too often. You only need 2, really. Because they shouldn't get injured. They do, but you shouldn't need many of them. They're kind of old and so forth. But your wingers, you want to change them every game, and they want to know they're playing. They're going to be picked on form. They're going to be switched wings, and you've got 3 on either side. And that's where, if you're going to have a big squad, those are the guys apart from the centre forward, is where you do have an excess of options. Look, going back to Adoma. Why the hell didn't we just keep Adoma? If he's good enough for Cardiff, what's so bad about Adoma? What did he ever do?
And we got Diakabi in.
And who's that?
Yeah. But Adoma as well, which is important. Adoma looked like he was good for the dressing room. Yeah, and that's an important part, isn't it? Whereas,
I'll tell you another brilliant bloke, Bostock. We can do worse than getting Bostock back. You know, I mean, there's no point because we've got so many blinking players. But Bostock is good as gold. Having him around the place, you talk about, he will make Bostock and Adoma. Bostock had one shocking game, but he wasn't given a chance.
That was against Wigan, wasn't it? Was it Wigan?
He played, he had an awful game, and he did a brilliant pass at the end that Rafa Mir could have scored. And if he had, the world might be a different place. But he didn't do anything right apart from the last pass before he got subbed. And, the rest is history. But he played really well after that. And
we were at the Middlesbrough game, weren't we, Ben? And he came on in that game, and he hadn't played for months, and he was superb. He looked like he'd never been away.
Yeah,
this is John Bostock.
There he is.
There he is, John Bostock. Like I said, I think he did it. I don't know did you see his interview? I think it's on People.
Oh yes.
Yeah, really, I really enjoyed that.
He put out a really classy post when he left, didn't he? As well, which I think says a lot about his character. And why would you want to get rid of characters like that?
Well, yeah, but it's a club which has problems with characters, isn't it?
Quick question. Regarding the article again, people like, who was it? Samuel Dice. I think the Bournemouth manager wanted. Howell. They wanted the job. Did you think like Chris Hughton knew that what he was coming into?
Yeah, I think he's well enough connected. He would, I hope and pray, he took the calculated risk that he had enough goodwill and had enough weight to be able to do what he wants to do and get the job done despite the difficulties.
What do you think, Lee?
Yeah, I think he did, but I mean, we actually had a similar conversation, didn't we, last week on sort of in a sort of a group chat where looking at Neil Warnock and what he's done at Middlesbrough and where they were when he took over, just saying how do you think he would have done with this set of players if he'd gone in, because he was another manager, wasn't he, with a proven pedigree? You know, how do you think someone like that would have done?
I think Warnock's better with kind of rubbish players.
We have got rubbish players though.
I don't think we do. That's the crazy thing. I think we kind of ruin players. Personally, I think it all stems from pressure and kind of it's pressure. It's pressure ultimately, and being kind of pushed down rather than lifted up. You know, you think of. I don't know. Well, the bomb squad, I'm sure the players don't enjoy their football as much as they could at our club.
It's weird, like you mentioned the bomb squad, we've got players like Zach Clough, Michael Hefner. We brought in, I think it's 3 managers out since then, and they still can't get in the team. Yeah. I just like back to the CEO again. Oh,
why? How do you keep your job when you've overseen that much? Really, I don't know. What's important, you know? I don't know. I mean, to me, you know. And they said in the article he's going to smile after 3 years.
Listen to me.
Do you think that's going to do it?
Have you seen a picture that's been on Twitter today? I think it was at today's game. He wasn't even smiling.
No.
And this is what frustrates me. Like, you see, like, as everyone knows on Twitter, there's a hashtag Ventos out.
I think. Look, it's a cultural thing,
you know,
and I don't think there's a lot of personal hating, but it's just their way of doing things. You know, it shouldn't be a surprise. You look at the way Greek clubs handle business. This is it. It doesn't work here though, and that's all you. It's nothing personal. It's like you've tried. It really hasn't worked. You know, we're talking about, is this player good? Is that is the problem? You know, that pervades all of it. You've had good players become bad players. You've signed so many players, different managers. What's the cause? What's the root cause? You've got to sit back and say, we're not already going to get promoted. We're going to work hard at it. We're going to win a game at a time. We're going to build something. We're not going to keep knocking it down. We're not going to keep, just constantly twisting. You've got to say, these players are good. We back you. And I wish Houghton would get the players in there. Look, guys, professional pride. You're not doing yourself justice. Put everything else to one side. Let's pull together and enjoy our playing for this club again. Personally, I think the COVID thing totally killed us as well.
Quick question about Matthew. I'll ask this question, right? Because I said everyone wanted Houghton. Everyone got excited. Being manager. This is for you, Lee, as well. If this carries on with defeat after defeat, we're going to bottom 3. Do you think fans will get frustrated with Houghton because of the way he plays? Because you need to remember, Houghton plays like Lemucci. I personally think
he does. Yeah. Anyone that thought they were going to get sexy football,
that's the problem.
It's not that. No.
It's not. I just like. Do you like? I think that for the younger fans will get more frustrated. Because you see on social media, blogs and that. Do you think Houghton will stay if this carries on? With form-wise.
I do think the form will change. I'm still confident that at some point will click, because as one of you alluded to earlier in the call, we haven't been battered, have we, yet this season? No. It's been, how many games would just scoring 1 goal, never mind 2 or 3, but just 1 goal would have changed.
I thought I thought Houghton would turn it round right from the start. I think he did turn it round from the start. He made a significant improvement. We won a couple of games. We draw the ones we didn't win, and we were on a par. The thing I'm disappointed with is he hasn't. To be fair, he's had a bit of bad luck. Like if Freeman had been a little bit more with it, and if Grabban hadn't been kind of having his issues, whether it's injury or form or confidence, you know, we'd have won a couple more games. Everything would have started rolling in the right direction. You've got to get momentum. Sport is all about momentum.
Yeah, but
you know, if you believe you're going somewhere, we shouldn't be worrying about one defeat. We should be saying we're going to be good in 2 or 3 years' time. Because the problem is a team like Reading, who are they're rubbish. Yeah. But if they wait long enough and they're patient, they'll become a good team every 3 years because they'll just be sensible. Don't go crazy. Just buy 1 or 2 good players that pay off. Find 1 or 2, and then you'll be a good team. If you keep changing, you never know where the hell you're going.
Right. So our next game, like I said, we've got a tough December. We've got Norwich, Brentford, Sheffield Wednesday. We've got. You know what? Every game's massive.
Yeah, you don't think you can win any of them looking at them now, really. If you lose to Barnsley every week, who are you going to fancy playing?
Exactly. And that's the problem. Like, do you think we'll get points out of it, Matthew or Lee?
As I say, I am the eternal optimist, and I'm always confident because I don't think it's a bad group of players. I've got a lot of mates who are big Stoke fans. Now you go back 12 months ago, they were second from bottom, third from bottom. Yeah, now they're loving life, and they haven't signed a lot of players.
No, you don't need to.
No. And I think that's this is pretty much the same team that was getting walloped every week under Nathan Jones. So it can turn around. It can change, and I am expecting it to happen with us every game. I'm expecting this is it. I do think we're a bit unlucky today with the red card. I think that kind of changed the game.
No, but it's not that. It's just the unfortunate thing that Samba didn't take one step forward. It just happened the wrong thing at the wrong time. If it happened, I don't mean we might have won the game.
Yeah, it was a definite red card. But I mean, if Samba comes out and takes that cross. And we push up. It's 11v11, still 0-0. It's a totally different game. It was even up at that point, wasn't it? It was an even game, and it
would have been. You think it would have been a draw? To be honest, I was bitching my backside off about the foul that was given because it was a soft foul. Yeah. The guy ran across Knockhart, and Knockhart didn't foul him. It was one of those. It was a soft foul. It shouldn't.
And that corner, I don't think it was a corner either. I think Christie overstepped.
Oh, really?
Stepped over and it went out.
Okay.
This is Martin from Wales.
Hello. Can anyone come in?
Anyone can come in.
I hope I don't get paid less because there's more people joining.
Listen to me,
Martin's evil twin.
Listen to me, Match is Watson. So Matthew, you stay with me now. You're not staying. You can stay away from Max now.
He's going to put in a transfer bid. They're not going to crack. When he signs me, I'll do a knockout.
Martin, these two we're talking about today. How did you feel about the season?
I've listened to the comments. I think Matthew, you should be the manager of Nottingham Forest.
Do you know that, Matthew?
I couldn't hear that. That was a Dalek again. So I totally
he did hear it really. Just want to hear it again.
Yeah, I listened to your conversation.
I can only hear nice things. I've got this app which just rubs out anything that was a bit taking the piss out of me, I think.
He said you should be the manager.
Oh, right. Oh no, so it was all right. Well, I don't know whether that's a nice thing or not, but I don't know whether it's a job I want. I've never been beaten yet. I've got a perfect record. And they hounded me out just like they did to Clough at Leeds. But it was only an under-9 team in Florida. But still, we won everything.
You've talked a lot of sense tonight, fair play.
I still can't hear you. But I'll take the job.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Wes is coming on in a minute. Big Wes from Moco. Okay. He's coming on in a minute. Martin, so today, how do you feel about today's game?
Right. The first goal, definitely Samba's fault. He should have come and got that ball first. He's waiting for the ball to come to him instead of him going to the ball. That goal should never have happened.
Where are you going, Matthew?
I'm seeing if I can hear him, but I'm going to another planet. I don't know. I've got a gimbal, so I still can't hear him. Whatever I do, I can't hear him. So
Right.
don't worry about me. It makes no difference.
Carry on, Martin. Carry on.
Yeah, don't let me as well.
Yeah, like I said, Samba was definitely at fault for the first goal. He should have come for that ball sooner and got it. That goal wouldn't have happened. And at least Yates had attempted to stop the ball going over the line, and then he got red carded, which is unfortunate. I think we were on the loser then. From that moment on, we had a loser. And I will admit, when the second ball went in for the second goal, I turned the game off because I knew we were not going to score and we won't get anything from the game. So
I'd recommend you probably don't bother tuning in the next two because there's not much chance then.
Oh, Dave.
Save time.
You've got to keep the faith.
Martin,
but actually, going back to that, I think it's all about us. It's not about them. I think we're potentially the best team in the league. I honestly do.
Oh, we're definitely a top 16 on paper.
Yeah, definitely. But we don't have to worry about the opposition. It's all about us.
It's all about psychological.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And the players were ruined since the lockdown. I don't know what they did during the lockdown.
Matthew, it was a derby game. That's what killed us.
Maybe. But I think it was an accumulation of everything. I think they went away and Sabri spent the whole of those 3 months thinking, defend. He was like, had these headphones on. Instead of listening to audiobooks, he was going, defend. And it was just, he gave them all a tape. Like they had to listen to it every night. Defend. Think of new ways to defend. Let them have the ball, but just don't let a goal in. We will get in the playoffs and then we'll go and score a couple of goals and we'll win.
Especially that Barnsley game. That was
unbelievable. I was happy when they beat us.
What?
I actually was happy because we didn't deserve it.
We didn't deserve it. We got what we deserved.
If you go out like that, you don't deserve anything. Every game, whoever you're playing, you have to have a positive plan. Even if you're going to defend, you have to defend positively. Not, like we did against Derby, to be honest. Although you're saying that, at least when we played Derby, we felt like this is a challenge. It was a Derby game and we had to approach it. And we had Sabri did have a positive plan and it worked to perfection. And we should have won 3-0.
Here he is, Big Wes.
Hey, gents.
Yes, Wes.
Better late than never, I guess.
We're in danger of breaching social distancing now, aren't we, or something?
Yeah.
We're getting too many here.
Hey, Wes, how you doing?
I'm great, man, considering. How's it going?
Well, Matthew's depressed. Lee's a bit up and down. And I'm down. So, Wesley, as a Forest fan, what is happening with Forest fan? What is happening?
Oh, jeez, that is the $100,000 or pound question, right? What's happening? I don't know. I don't. Every game I am at a loss for what we should have done differently, to be quite honest. I know one of the big things that is always on my mind is why the heck aren't we subbing more, right? Why are we not? Yeah. Why are we not bringing the obvious talent that's sitting on the sidelines on the pitch? So I don't know what our strategy is around subbing. I don't know what is going on with our philosophy around goal scoring. I think that's not part of our game plan right now. So
it's like the fishing; it doesn't really matter.
I just
it's only 0.1% of our game. We shouldn't even bother. That was Sabri. That was the European approach.
Oh, fine. Okay, that's a different strategy altogether. I get it. I just have no idea. I know that there's all this talk about us being defensive minded, right? And about protect. But I mean, matches are won on goals, right? They're not won on block shots or defending the goal. Hell, I was
saved.
That's dude, I will give up 2 goals if we can get 5 out of a game. I don't care if we can just score, man.
No, but the
But
problem
it's kind
is
of like
people
that Barnsley game, isn't it? Of last season that we I know we want to talk about tonight's game, but just to briefly touch up on that, where it was just like, let's go out. It's when the game kicks off, it's 0-0. We get the point we need to get through. Whereas we've gone out with the opposite mindset, saying, I tell you what, let's go out, let's score 1. And these won't score 2.
Well, what's that mindset? What's that mindset saying? It's saying we're scared of Barnsley. You should say we're better than Barnsley. You know, we're better than Barnsley. We're going to play as much football because we're better at football than them, and then we'll beat them. And if you don't think that, what are all your players going to think? Great Barnsley. You know how?
I mean, Barnsley weren't great goal scorers last season. You go out there, you score against Barnsley, they won't get 2, and they didn't get 2 anyway.
But you should be wanting to go out there and play football. There should be, there should be about 5 or 6 people on the pitch who fancy scoring goals. That's all they're interested in. That's why when you don't pick Carvalho because he doesn't track back, your thinking's all back to front. He shouldn't be thinking about tracking back. You shouldn't mention it to him. You know, Clough didn't get blinking, I don't know, whoever up front, Gary Birtle. Well, that's not fair. He probably did. But you see, then the other argument is it's not all about defence. Defending is important, but you attack as well. It's not only defending, because you kind of say, oh, we defend too much. We should attack. It doesn't mean, oh yeah, we want to go and play like Keegan. You're not saying that. You're just saying, be like Karanka, maybe. Defend like hell, but at least fancy scoring a goal. And if you're going to defend, it means you can pick some flair players. That's the whole point.
Wes, quick question for you, Wes. About Forest season so far, what's your opinion?
And ask me again now. Say one more time.
What's your opinion on Forest season so far?
My opinion is just
clean.
I get that.
You want the recap.
But I think it's what we're talking about getting after goals, right? It's about scoring. And my opinion is, I don't know, I guess Amiobi and Lyle Taylor are like our the 2 people that are attacking the most. That's kind of scary to me, right? I always thought like one thing I struggle with is defining what's our personality. When I say we're Forest, what does that mean, right? And I'm afraid that might mean that Forest is defined as a defensive-minded team, although that has not yielded us much result right now. I would much prefer for us to be considered that get after the ball, get down the pitch, get at least a shot on goal.
We're top of the
per half, maybe.
Stats.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess to answer your question directly is I don't know what to think, man, because I don't know how to wrap my mind around what our personality is and who we are as a team.
Are you happy with Chris Hughton?
Come on, man. Is that a have to ask me question? Is that what you're required to ask me?
I've got to ask you, Wes, because I said I don't know if you read it. I don't know. I said to Matthew and Lee about the Daniel Taylor article about Forest. Have you read it?
No.
You should read it.
Don't.
You've got to read it.
All right, fine.
Stay in America in ignorant bliss. A lot more when I was in Florida, and you can have this kind of faraway idea of Forest being a great place for football and all lovely fairy tales and kittens. If you know too much, it wrecks it. It wrecks it for you.
Yeah, I don't know what. First of all, like I said, Houghton drives me nuts with the lack of subs, because I'm always like, why do we end the game with like so much left on the table? So that drives me nuts. And then again, it goes back to my other point. I don't know what his philosophy is. I can't right now. And granted, I don't have the best football mind out there, so it will probably take a lot for me to understand anyway. But I just don't get I don't get what he's doing. I don't understand it yet. Maybe I do need to do a little more reading to understand it. Maybe you just have a handle on it already.
Watch Murder on Middle Beach instead. It will be a better. You spend your time better. It's gripping stuff.
So I want to have a better answer for you than I don't know, but I just don't know.
All I'm going to tell you is,
mess with his mind.
all I'm going to tell you is, after this stream, I will send you the link of what is happening. Because I don't know if you know, if you're on Twitter or not, there's so much nonsense that's going behind the scenes, and I thought you knew about it. And if you don't, that's fine.
No. I'd be interested to know. I'd really love to hear what's happening behind it. Maybe I'll shed a little light on what's going on. Maybe I'll understand everything better.
Right.
Send me the link as well, Ben.
Matthew,
He's in Wales. He doesn't know either.
Matthew, go on, Matthew. Explain to me, to Wes and Martin, just little bits what has been happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Go on.
Wow, God, that's like, wow, the world cooled. It's basically there's a big culture issue. The Greek way of doing things hasn't worked, basically. And it's hardly any. I don't. You know, if you wanted to play happy people against unhappy people at the club, the unhappy team would win easily, and it would be like nearly everyone.
I got
it. You know, they can't do that one. So personally, I think you need to reset. You need to say, we just want to build something. We don't want to be promoted next year. That will happen when we
don't want to be relegated either, though, right?
Huh? It's not me spending £2 million a month, but sort of sit back and put my feet up and just enjoy the trip. Yeah. So I can understand why there's an urgency about getting promoted, but if you're always looking 2 steps ahead, it's never going to happen. I've kind of avoided the question, but the question is
you're dodging the question. That's what
I'm dodging it. Well, I don't incriminate myself. There's all kinds of horrible things happen to people. And it was a lot of it was about Pantilimon, for example. He wasn't meant to be picked because it was going to cost a load more money. Basically, interference with team selection on totally non-football issues. That's it. And basically, and then the Karanka thing was a disaster. And really, in my opinion, everything stemmed from the Karanka thing. And those 2 weeks, or however long it was, between when everyone was told he was going to be sacked, and then everyone who knows about football saying this is a really bad idea, and the 2 weeks of kind of whatever you want to call it in between, everything stems from that, because that was horrible. It was the most horrific 2 weeks at a football club you could ever have. And I was interacting with the players after the games and things, and you could feel it. They didn't know what was going on. They were all coming out. They couldn't explain what was going on or why it was going on. It was crazy.
So here's what I'm wondering is, I knew that the culture was bad under Fawaz, right? So did our culture improve any for a while, or has it just gone bad from one owner to the other?
Do not mention that man again.
I'm sorry.
We said keep it clean.
Yeah.
Personally, I think I'll answer this, Matthew. You've dodged every single question, Matthew.
No,
I feel a lot of points there, man.
I still get top marks. In my day, 51% was a pass.
Personally, this is my opinion on it. I just feel that guy was
Vetros,
Vetros.
Oops.
He's basically killing the club.
Yeah.
The players are not getting along with him, and
the management aren't getting along with him.
The management aren't getting along with him, and you can mention about someone with Alberto Domo. I felt sorry for him because, like I said, as Lee mentioned, he was a good player in the dressing room, and if you tell him to go in the bottom squad, same as Carvalho, players not going to like that. And the culture with the Greek people coming to England thinking, they do it their way, the fans are not going to like it, and now this is happening. It's not going to, and it's affecting the players, And now what's happening? We've lost. How many games we've lost this season so far? We've lost. Is it?
How many
9?
games have we played? It's how many
Played
games
16.
we played minus
Lost
a
9,
couple.
haven't we? Lost 9, isn't it?
We've lost 9, and
Something like that.
I think it's just a culture thing. I think the fans are not liking it, the players not liking it, and especially the management. Whereas, as a Forest fan, do you think we'll get relegated? Yes or no?
No. So the Forest way is to just like give you heart palpitations right up until the end, right? And then somehow we'll squeak through. I don't think we'll get relegated. We will finish somewhere near the bottom, to be quite honest. That's my opinion, but I don't think as far as being relegated, no. We have a tradition of just squeaking through. As far as for my long sorted history from being a Forest fan, I know that we continue to squeak through somehow, and I have the faith that we'll squeak through again. I don't think we'll get relegated, but it'll be close, and we'll have some heart palpitations for a while.
A few.
A few. I've already had loads. I've had loads so far. Matthew, quick question. Like I said, we've got Norwich. Like we've got Norwich next. What changes do you think Hooter needs to make?
Well, who's he got to pick from? And that's the question, isn't it? I mean, well, is McKenna fit? Is So going to be fit? Thing means that obviously Yates is out. Colback's going to be out until the other side of Christmas, and Grabban, where's he? He'll
be gone. I personally think he'll gone. He'll be gone by January because, as you know, I think he wanted to go. He wanted to join Lamucci's side, didn't it? Mm-hmm. And it didn't go through. I think he'll go personally. What's everyone think? Does everyone think about Lewis Grabban? Do you think he'll go? Yes or no?
I hope not.
No.
I think there's a lot of talk personally. Grabban is a funny guy, isn't he? He's separate from the squad. He's a kind of, not in a nasty way. I think he's a striker. Strikers are like a law unto themselves, and he's a confidence player. And you've got to manage him properly. I think the whole thing is managing the players properly.
He's a self-isolator too, right?
Yeah. Well, and he's anyone that plays up front is totally self-isolated. Whoever it is, like they don't see people for weeks from the same team that they're familiar with.
Yeah. I know as you went through players, you neglected to call my guy's name, man.
Which is your guy?
Come on, Amiobi, man. That is my
Amiobi. No, Amiobi. I would pick him. You weren't here.
Oh, okay, great. I'm sorry I missed
Sammy,
that.
I had my doubts, but my belief in him is ever burgeoning. Sammy, I love Big Sammy.
He brings joy and comedy back to the pitch, man. I love to watch that guy play.
His facial stuff over the last few weeks has been insane. It's worth tuning in just for the Sammy.
Yes.
His eyes where they get wide and stuff like that.
Totally.
No,
right. So last question to everyone. Like we've got a massive game against Norwich on Wednesday. We'll start with you, Lee. What do you think the score will be?
2-2.
2-2. Think we'll score a goal?
We've not scored for 5 games. I'm the eternal
Santa's coming tomorrow too.
Martin, what do you think the score will be?
I can go for a 1-1 draw. We've got to have a goal soon.
Why is everyone negative? Listen to me. Stop being negative.
Right, Ben, I'm not being negative.
That's a good goal.
I think he's crazy.
Look at the way we've been playing the last 6 games. We haven't scored a goal. We don't look like scoring. It's not being negative. I'm being a realist here. I'm like Craig.
That's like Craig now. Matthew, what do you think the score will be?
Well, if we can get our 5 corners in the half, I think we could score from one of them or something like that. I'm going for 5 corners. Does that count as a score? Most throw-ins in our own half, 10.
Stop dodging the question. Matthew, You know what? If you keep dodging the question, I will replace you with Michaela.
No, okay, all right.
Answer
okay,
the question.
Don't send me to the bomb squad for not saying the only Forest way. No, I don't know. I mean, it's been so long. I always think we can win every game. As far as I'm concerned, we can win every game. If the players believe they can win, they can win. And let's say 1-0. Let's say 1-0 from a dodgy corner or something off Graben's backside. Graben comes up out of the ground and gets one off his backside because he's got the striker's gene.
Wes, what do you think the score will be on Wednesday?
Yeah, 1-1. I think we do get that corner early, and then they'll equalize in stoppage time right at the end of the game.
There's a particularly strong wind that blows the ball into the back of the net. Yeah.
Why is everyone saying draw? Be positive. We're going to
win. That's a vast improvement for us, man.
Norwich, they're top of the league.
Steps. You see, Ben, you're the problem. You have to be realistic and expect sensible progress. This is what I say. You're getting ahead of yourself. You'll be changing the whole team next week because we didn't get a 3-0 defeat. You know.
Listen, I like to be positive. I got a bunch of people who's realists, as Martin says, and I think we'll beat Norwich. If Derby can beat Norwich, why can't we beat Norwich?
No, I think we can win. I think we can win every game, it's all about our approach.
It's a way as well.
Our approach is so wrong. What you've got to say is, how long is it going to take these people to come out of rehab? That's what you've got to say. It's not about. We could be lucky, but the long term, the only time we're going to start winning games properly is when the whole squad is rehabbed. Like I say, none of them are playing well. None of them.
We've got to walk away with this league, and it's all about the mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing, going back to the Greek thing, in Greece, it's like Scotland. There's a couple of teams, and you can do what you like. If you fail, you're going to end up second or third. The championship is tough. The championship's tough. It's not a playground. You can't just turn up, buy a couple of flashy players and win the league, or just try and defend a little bit, and they're going to roll over. They're not going to come at you, and they're going to throw punches, and they're going to score one goal every week. We've seen it. If you don't take it seriously, you'll get beaten every week. You've got to go out there and try and win, because they're going to try and beat you, and everyone's going to try and beat us. And everyone believes they can beat us now, and they all can.
Yeah, they do. That's a good point.
Before we go, what's it like in America with pandemic and all that?
And what about
it is election season, so everything is political, man. Even the pandemic is political. the pandemic has chosen a political party, and that's what they're rolling. It is, for the most part, people here are being cooperative, and they're doing what they're supposed to do. I'm a big advocate of wearing masks. With this mug, I mean, I'm glad to wear a mask, but it's what you would expect at this point, right? It's just kind of up and down. It kind of depends. The severity depends on who you talk to, that type of thing. But I think for the most part, people are being compliant, and we're just trying to get through this madness. I work from home anyway, so it's not a huge difference for me. I like that.
You can tell with your afro. You can tell.
Right. Now that's a difference. I haven't been to a barbershop since this thing happened, as you can tell.
You can tell. Keep it. Don't shave it off. Just leave it. You look like Michael Jackson, but.
Oh God! Okay,
good version. The good one.
Wait, the black Michael Jackson or the other one?
Randy Jackson for me.
Oh my God!
No, Ben's the expert on the coronavirus, aren't you, Ben? Talk about dodging questions. Anyway, never mind.
Listen to me, right? This is Matthew's fault. This is all Matthew's fault.
Yeah.
This is all.
Marinakis brought it in. That's where all the problems started, isn't it? Actually, not being funny.
Wesley, do you know the story with that? I don't know if you know the story with that.
No, of course not.
Right, basically, right. This is Matthew's fault.
Okay.
you know when Forest played Millwall, we lost 3-0.
Okay.
Basically, me and Matthew had a picture with the owner. Then on a Tuesday,
No.
he announced he had the virus.
Yeah.
I'm panicking. I'm panicking.
Ben kissed his wife, and then the virus spread.
And then I remember Malcolm phoning me, and then I had Matthew phoning me. And because everyone knows me on Twitter, I was getting abused from left, right, and centre. And like,
Ben had the first test, but it was a kind of unofficial Ben test. I feel okay.
But you're okay now.
I'm going to the next game. And then the rest is history.
But the worst thing, right, Wes, the worst thing about it, Matthew had a picture and no one gave him grief.
Yeah, but I'm not a social media whore like this. That's where you went wrong.
And this is a problem. So everything I get blamed, Matthew gets the blame as well. So people,
yeah, but I was self-isolating. I'm still in isolation now. I took it seriously.
But yeah, the story is that
if you and Ryan Yates get the blame for everything.
I get
yeah, that's the Forest way. You see, Ben's the problem. He's always
I'm the problem, so I blame other people. So,
I have seen people on Twitter, and I think even Colin, if I'm not mistaken, blame Forest woes on the fact that we don't have fans in the stands, right? Yeah. They said the season would be totally different if there were fans in the stands. So maybe the problem is coronavirus. Maybe that's why we can't win again.
The results have dropped off, haven't they, since we've not had fans in the stadium?
See, there you go. Well, you know, I'm an analytics guy.
Negativity that fans apparently project, but our results do seem to have tapered off since the fans haven't been allowed in.
Yeah, as an analytics guy, I don't know if that's correlation or causation. So we have to figure out that. I don't know.
But yeah, I'm gonna let everyone go. But thank you very much, Matthew, for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Wes, for taking.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Lee, as well. I'm not saying thank you to you, Martin, because you're a price, so you can jog on.
No, come on.
But yeah, but Martin, thank you for coming on. But everyone, thank you everyone for coming on. Make sure you do subscribe for the channel, and hopefully,
is this going to be the Christmas special as well?
Wes, I need you back on again, Wes. I need you back on.
Anytime, man. I'm glad to. I'll be on time next time too.
Yeah, he's only earned half his fee, so you still owe him half the match.
Right.
But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you do subscribe, like as well, and hopefully, and I'll see you everyone on Tuesday for the Norwich preview. Up the Forest, everyone.
All right, yeah.
Reds.
You Reds. 3 points, definitely.
You Reds.